Are you absolutely sick of Arceus VSTAR? Well, this isn't the video for you because we're back again with yet another Arceus VSTAR deck profile. How's it going, everyone? Steuben here, and as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Before we get too wrapped up doing things, 80-something% of you guys that watch these videos aren't subscribed to the channel, and honestly, that would help out so much to help show everyone out there the decks and some of the other content that we provide here. So please take a moment, hit that subscribe, and if you want to be even more awesome than you already are for just watching this video, ring that little notification bell. That way you can know exactly when I upload videos. You can come hang out and show whenever we post any updates. But let's get started. We are taking a look today at a Arceus VSTAR deck featuring Tapu Koko VMAX and a few other friendos. I was inspired by some lists from some online events recently, played by some pretty solid players. So I took what they did, changed it a little bit to suit my preferences and also what I had available for card selection. So let's give it up. We've got 4 copies of Arceus V. Pretty straightforward, of course. 220 HP, 2 attacks, Trinity Charge, and Power Edge. Trinity Charge is definitely the more important of the two here to be able to accelerate energy from the deck. You just attach a double turbo on here, and you're good to go. We've got 3 copies of Arceus VSTAR, 280 HP, 1 attack, Trinity Nova for 3 energy, 200 damage. Same effect as Trinity Charge, but you're doing damage this way. Pretty super solid card here. And of course, Starbirth, it lets you search your deck for any 2 cards once per game with that VSTAR power. So that's really just your setup engine and your way to get rolling. So we've got a 2-2 Koko line. Again, I'm working with what I had and what I could get easily by the time I have time to film this video, so on and so forth. So we have 2 Tapu Koko V, 210 HP, 2 attacks, Electro Ball, 1 lightning for 40, and Spiral Thunder 20 plus 40 times all energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon for 2 lightning and a colorless. Spiral Thunder is sort of similar to what Starmie V can do, just not as powerful. That's 50 times. This is 20 plus 40 times. So they need a little bit more to get there. But the matchups that this matters in, you don't need that many energy to really do that up. You could opt to play the Sword and Shield Tapu Koko. It has 200 HP. It has 2 attacks as well. It's got Spike Draw for 1 lightning. It does 20 and you draw 2 cards. And then the other attack, I believe, is just 2 lightning and a colorless for a flat 200. It also has no retreat to mention, so that's probably the better choice, but I couldn't get my hands on any. And it's not like it matters too much, but optimally, if you were going to play this in a tournament, I would definitely consider maybe playing a 1-1 line, like splitting this up, or if you're going to go full on like a 3-3, then play like 2 of those Kokos and 1 of these. But I'm rocking a 2-2, like I said. So we've got Tapu Koko VMAX, 320 HP, 1 attack, 2 lightning and a colorless, max shock 180. If you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, you paralyze them. So to leave them stunned and shocked in the active is a pretty solid move, especially in just a matchup where you think they're running low on resources and you're definitely behind in the game. To be able to paralyze and then 2-shot feels pretty solid. And again, in the matchup where the lightning type matters, Palkia, doesn't matter if you paralyze them or not, 180 times 2 is 360. And you're just going to go right through that Palkia V or V-Star and just ruin their day. And to fill the slots I didn't have for the deck, I decided to fill in the extra spaces with these guys. We've got a Zapdos V, Galarian Zapdos V more specifically, 200 HP with the ability Fighting Instinct. For every Pokemon V they have in play, your attack cost 1 colorless less. So they have 3 Pokemon V in play. You only need a Fighting Energy on here to hit for 170. And it also discards special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon, which could be pretty good. This will one-shot opposing Arceus V and V-Star, permitting they don't have a Dunsparce in play, or that your Dunsparce isn't in play. Keep that in mind as well. And we've got 1 Raikou V. Again, as a filler slot in a perfect world, this could be the other Tapu Koko, but this is something you can actually attack to with Raihan in a turn if you're coming back. Of course, you have the ability Fleet-Footed once during your turn. If it's in the active spot, you can draw an additional card, and then Lightning Rondo for a lightning and a colorless. It does 20 plus 20 more damage for every one of the bench Pokemon in play, yours and theirs. So for 2 full benches, you're hitting for 220. In an optimal world, you only need to hit for 140 total, so that's a combination of, I think, 6 bench Pokemon between yours and theirs to be able to take a KO on a Palkia VSTAR thanks to weakness. To round out our Pokemon line, we are playing a 2-2 Bibarel line for the Industrious Incisors to be able to draw a couple cards. We've got a Dunsparce to protect our Arceus for weakness with its Mysterious Nest ability. And then we've got a Lumineon V to help you find supporter cards to just be able to keep moving around. Onto the supporters ourselves, we are playing 4 copies of Marnie. Hand Disruption, Shuffle Disruption. You get a new hand, you ruin them down. Marnie plus Koko together feels really good. We've got 2 copies of Professor's Research, 2 copies of Boss's Orders. Pretty straightforward there. Discard your hand, draw 7 cards, and then of course your Gusting effect. We've got 2 copies of Sharon's Care to be able to pick up and reset the Arceus and get him back into our hand. And you could actually just kind of play it like an Arceus Bibarel deck in some situations where you don't necessarily need the Koko or anything else, and Sharon's Care is super solid in that situation. We've got a single copy of Raihan for your comeback potential. They took a KO on their last turn. You can attach energy from your discard pile and search your deck for any cards you need. Pretty straightforward. And then we've got 1 Roxanne. Roxanne Koko Path is insane if it lands and sticks. Paralyze them, turn off their abilities, give them 2 cards, and then just they might not be able to do too much. Onto the items, of course, as always, 4 Ultra Balls, 4 Quick Balls. I said that backwards, but you know what I mean. We got it there. And then we got 1 copy of Evolution Incense, so you can grab your Bibarel, your Koko VMAX, your Arceus VSTAR, and then just start doing whatever you need to do from there. And then we've got 2 copies of Palpad. This will help us in certain matchups where we need to be able to Raihan, Roxanne, or Sharon's Care at additional times. This could also be additional bosses. Double Sharon, double Palpad has honestly just felt really good in a lot of matchups here to be able to just keep using and abusing Sharon's Care, especially if you get paired up against something like Lunatone Solrock, where they can never just one-shot the Arceus, and if you can just keep looping between the 2 of them with Sharon's Care, you're going to have a really good time, and they're just going to sit there and be pretty sad about it. For more items, we've got 1 Ordinary Rod to be able to put back pieces and basic energy. Definitely does matter, again, because we're only playing a 2-2 Koko line. If you throw one away early if you have to, and then you can just Ordinary Rod it back in and get it back later on as needed. For some mobility, we've got 1 Switch and 1 Escape Rope. Just general mobility there. And I like to be a little bit more aggressive with my plays, so I am playing 1 copy of Choice Belt here to help push up numbers to either 230, 210, 200, or wherever to help Raikou out. This 1 copy does come in the clutch pretty often from what I can see so far in early testing with this deck list. So definitely keep that in mind, that this is something you might want to consider. Sometimes Big Charm is perfectly fine too. Being able to push this up to 350, give these guys each 300 HP, 350 on Arceus V, 310 on VSTAR. That could matter too. You could potentially cut the belt for a Big Charm if you want to play more conservatively, but we have 4 Sharons basically with at least 1 copy of Palpad played, potentially even more. You could theoretically do it 2, put them back in, do it another 2 times, put them back in, do it another 2 times, and play Sharon 6 times. So I think the Choice Belt just helps you come back and be a little bit more aggressive. For stadiums, this is where it kind of mixes up again. A lot of the lists that I've seen with Koko and Decidueye have played a full 3 Path to the Peak. I think 1 is enough. A lot of other decks are already playing 1 copy anyways. You don't want it to be stuck in the position where, like, oh crap, I need to be able to Starbirth this turn, I have to use Zapdos or Lumineon to get where I need to go. And if you play multiple copies of this and they play multiple copies of it, you're gonna have a hard time just bumping the stadium out. You could play Pumpkaboo. The original list I did see did play a copy of Pumpkaboo. I just wasn't a fan of it, so I decided to play 2 copies of Training Court instead, since I did include the Zapdos, where you do need that potential a little bit of fighting energy to get there and to be able to attack. And that's it for the trainer cards. Pretty straightforward here. And onto the energy, we've got 3 copies of Double Turbo. You're able to just attach this and count for 2. It really helps with the Trinity Charge, and you could in some situations have it count for Zapdos if you're in a bad situation there. We've got 6 copies of Basic Lightning Energy. This is to fulfill the energy cost for Koko and Raikou. And we've got, last but not least, 2 copies of Basic Fighting Energy to help you use the Zapdos. And in some situations, you really don't even ever need the Zapdos depending on the matchup. So you could just accelerate these as the 3rd energy to Koko, since it is 2 Lightning and a colorless, or it can go into Arceus. It doesn't really matter. But this is the list. I hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. of this 60 cards, what you would change, what you would play instead, how your play style would be suited better for you. But yeah, that's it. Don't forget to check out all the sponsors down below, Gusto One Podcast, and all the other videos in the iCard and in the end cards. But yeah, don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.